What's up guys, Josh here, building whitetails. We are back at the 107. This is this year's building whitetails project, and we're gonna go over trail cameras. We've done trail cameras over the years on other farms and tips and tactics and things like that, but I can't, to be completely honest with you, I can't say that I am coming in just completely blind here because I've hunted here for a long time. But the special thing about this property is I've done a lot of work to it that has changed a lot of how this property lays and how the deer move and things of that nature. Things I've done to help in my favor, and things that are really out of my favor, but yet I've been able to capitalize on and use to capture a lot of really good pictures of velvet bucks in the summer and really see what we've got to chase this fall.
I've said it before, you'll hear me say it again, I will continue to say it. Help the deer do what deer want to do.
So end of June, July, that time frame, or early August, you know, bucks you're gonna be able to see a majority, especially obviously as later as it gets, you're gonna see the antler potential. But by end of June, early July, the bucks have a lot of their headgear that they're gonna have. And trail cameras right now, I'm not putting out trail cameras right now to help me pattern a deer for this fall. I'm putting out trail cameras right now strictly just to see what's here. What survived the winter, what moved in, what may have left. Not necessarily may have left, because you'll have bucks that come back. You know, they may leave and they may come back. I think we went over that in Building Whitetails episode in the past, but homecoming bucks, returning deer back to your property. I'm just looking for what's here, what's going on. You know, are the bachelor groups that typically hang here still here? And that leads me to my next point. Historically, bucks do go back to a summer range in most of the regions of the United States. They don't live their entire life on, you know, 40 acres or 100 acres. Some do, there's exceptions to this. And even you could have the absolute world's greatest habitat. I mean, I've got some really fantastic habitat at the lodge. We've got the whole series documented on here in Building Whitetails. My bachelor groups still leave. They go about a mile away and they hang out for the summer, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It's poorer habitat. The crops are not as good, the crops are not as nutritious, but yet they do it year in and year out. It's a puzzle that I have tried to figure out since the beginning of time, since the beginning of my interest of chasing whitetails, to be completely honest with you. But they're gonna do what they're gonna do. So when you know, there's things we can do like putting mineral sites out. You can supplemental feed, assuming this is legal in your state or where you're hunting. And that's a very powerful tool. But on that regard, before you just go and dump a bag of mineral and put a camera up, think about this. You're establishing a mineral site. When you dump a bag of mineral, that is gonna stay in the soil for a long time. I've got places where, you know, when I was a kid, I would dump bags of salt that I get from the hardware or from the feed store before I knew about feeding a quality mineral, that are still locations that deer go back and they dig in every single year. So before you just go and dump, think about this. Where do I want to establish this site? Is this a site that has good cell phone service? Is this a site that I can get to check cameras, you know, and refresh the site without pressuring this property? Things of that nature. So I tend to put my mineral sites in easy to get to locations and places that I try, hopefully, if I can, have good cell service for cell cameras. And if not, can I get into that location regularly to pull cards if I don't have service and not bump the deer on the majority of the property? And that goes for, that's trail cameras in general. I mean, that's same thing applies in December. But that's the mineral, you know, I said it many times, feed a quality one. If you're gonna do it right. That's with all land management. And then really the last one is, before you just go and put a bunch of cameras out, let's try to maximize, you know, batteries are expensive, your time is probably limited. Do some scouting. that can be a huge key to helping you, because bucks this time of year, when it's hot, they're going to stay close to water and food, and they're not going to want to move a long ways. Right here where we're at, this is a transition between bedding over here and food over here. It's a good spot for a camera. You know, access is easy. I can get in on a four-wheeler or a Ranger or even a pickup if the ground's dry. And so, you know, but I'm saying this, and I have had done quite a bit of scouting in the past where I'll sit from afar with binos or a spotting scope, and I will watch the fields, I will watch the pasture, and I'll see, hey, what are they doing this time of year? Where are they really liking to hang out? And I'll zone in, because you can have a trail camera on a good looking spot, and it may not be a good looking spot right now. It may be a great one in November, you know, might be a great one late season. But right now, you really need to kind of get in the zone of the deer, but not pressuring those deer. So it's kind of a sweet spot, and there's no perfect way to do it. There's no exact formula or game plan, but it's something that you're gonna have to kind of trial and error, but I encourage you to be cautious in that. So in summary, I'm really trying to encourage you, and I have through this series, to think long-term, and I keep saying that, and I know I probably sound like a broken record regarding it, but it's really, once you start to hone in on a good camera location, a good stand location, a good watering spot, a good food plot area, you really start to, your success as an outdoorsman really starts to skyrocket, because year in and year out, deer for the most part will do very similar things. They'll use the same trails from generation to generation, you know, assuming you don't, you know, you can put up a big fence, they'll go around it or something like that. But for the most part, they're going to use mineral sites year in and year out. They're going to bedding areas that they like to bed in. They will probably continue to like to bed in those spots. And those are the spots I've talked about. Take what deer want to do and, you know, make it better. Make it better for them, make it a little easier for them, as long as it works in your favor long term. You know, tweak a bedding area so that maybe they exit the bedding area 30 yards closer to a good stand tree or something like that. Same things for trail cameras. Think through long term and really hone in on good locations, because I put cameras on this tree for a number of years now, and for a number of years I've gotten great pictures here. So, and I've tried other trees. I continue to try other trees. You'll find spots like a pinpoint spot that just is really a money location, whether it's stands, food plots, like I said, trail cameras here. So guys, that's it for this episode. And it's, we're, like I said, we're throwing cameras up. It's that time of year I'm starting to see some pretty good looking bucks, you know, in my evening drives and whatnot. They're not fully developed yet, obviously, but they're starting to really show what they're going to be, and that's exciting for every outdoorsman. And so get your cameras out there. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned next time for the next episode of Building Whitetails. We'll see you then.